So check this out. There's not just one way to scratch an FL. There's already 3 ways to do DJ scratching in FL, and I figured out a 4th way with my newest patch, Harmor Vinyl. So today I figured I'd go through all the ways that we know of on how to scratch, and then lastly just explain how my patch works and how to use it for more expressive vocal and sample scratching. Let's get to it. Alright, so here we are in FL. I picked out a couple samples to use, like this, and this other like one shot. And the most common way people flip samples with scratching is to just load up GrossBeat. Just most common way, and you would pick a pattern and or automate through these to pick different sections to do different types of scratching and whatnot. So, you know, maybe you automate around and use the hold type point on your automation clip, and you kind of pick through and get something like this, like so. Yeah, this preset is just called Turntablist, and so you can pick through and automate around in it. I've actually edited it so that the trigger sync on the bottom here and the position sync are off for every option, and so that means you can move to different scratches in the middle of the bar and restart the scratch over. So it just kind of lets you be more on the fly with it and get like more interesting chops and like let them change over quicker. So I picked out something like this. This is how you would use it, you know, back and forth onto the different sections of this grid. So yeah, just scratching around on that. The pros of that one is just you can do tape stops, you can do reverses in GrossBeat, and it's all perfectly on beat and everything. It's all figured out for you. But with that comes less flexibility, and you can't like manually scratch over the beat really. I mean, you could if you like put this on a MIDI controller and like bounced around on it or something maybe. But yeah, definitely less flexible, but perfectly on beat and everything. So positives and negatives to GrossBeat. The next one that is not talked about as often is Slicex. You can trigger multiple samples in Slicex. If you control drag, it's shift and control drag over from your browser window, and then it adds samples into Slicex, and then you can like have multiple samples to scratch and stuff. But what you use is the speed envelope here, and then you can get like a double scratch by pulling this over with double curve on, and then you get something like this. Let me play the demo. So that way, you can really only do one whip, you can only do one, or the tape stop, if you just pull the decay out farther. But it does get closer because you can go up and down, and you can move from different starting points in your like sample window. And so yeah, it's more expressive in that way, but you just don't have reverses, you don't have like spin backs or anything like that. So, and yeah, you don't have true reverses, you can't reverse back through a sample, so it's a little bit clanky. So that's the Slicex route, you know. And the last way to scratch an FL already is Fruity Scratcher, which loads up as an effect actually, and then you just throw a sample in. I picked this one. It's just saying pump it up, and this is the demo. So Yeah, I mean, you can definitely scratch manually in Fruity Scratcher pretty easily when you just play with whatever sample you have. But then you can kind of nail it down a little more with the sensitivity and the acceleration and stuff. The only problem with it is it has smoothing, and it's a lot harder to trigger multiple samples unless you load up multiple Fruity Scratchers on the same mixer track, or you mute it and then go over to the next section over here and then scratch there. So positives and negatives with Fruity Scratcher. The other thing you can do with it is you can do like spin backs, like a DJ like, you know, spin back, and that would sound something like this. You know, you could load in whatever sample you want and just pull it with an automation clip and make spin backs. So yeah, pretty sick for that, but it is limited because you can't like trigger and do cool stuff with it. And then lastly, we have my patch Harmor Vinyl. This one is a linking between the Harmor global pitch and the image section's speed, the like fine speed and the time section and stuff. So essentially what it does is at 50% it's playing like unbearably low pitch, and speed is at 0, and then as you can see here there's a little dot on it, so that's like playback speed's 100%. Up here is like 200-300%. Back is like negative, so it's playing backwards. And so because of all of that, you can whip this knob around and get realistic scratching out of it. I'm gonna play the demo real quick, and then we'll get into more detail. With this one, it's important to notice that this bar up top here is where the playback starts, and so what you want to do is you want to pick with the slider. You know, you basically like pull it up, and then you create an automation clip, and then find the start points that you want. Oh. So I'd go through and I'd be like this. Also important to note, if you want a bunch of samples in here, you just use Edison, load a bunch of samples in with the same exact Slicex technique, you know, shift, drag in a bunch of samples, and then drag from Edison in, and then you've got a bunch of samples in here. Or you just save a big file. You know, there's also like DJ wave, like scratch waves that you can find online that just have all the one shots in them. So I recommend using those, and I'll throw a couple also in the description just so you have them. But yeah, that is how I use it. You just automate up and down to get interesting scratching. Yeah, you just scratch, and be sure to realize the patterns that you're using. You know, you can chop them around and stuff too. You can, like, if I wanted to just chop around, I could make something I like and then paste it over. You know, once you have the patterns that you like, you can like pick and choose and mess around with them, and then eventually merge it, like as you can see I did. And then here's another example. This one uses the retrigger speed. Also important to note, this up here is the pulse width. So it's just clipping in and only playing the first little section of the sample. That is the retrigger part. Now let me just show you what else is possible with it when you combine all of the like effects and everything, or all the knobs, I should say. Yeah. So that is Harmor Vinyl. It's on my Patreon if you want to grab it. And then look in the description. I'm going to have some other tools and stuff for you in there for free. And just throw like a link in there for the Turntablist download for like GrossBeat, and then the DJ samples as well, just so you have them. And I will see you on the next one. So thanks for watching. And yeah, happy producing. Till next time. Peace.